Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Real CFO Project. I am excited for today. Our goal and our mission is to educate small and mid-sized business owners into how to think like a CFO through various stages of their entrepreneurial journey. And today I'm blessed to be joined by Courtney Boomer. And Courtney has a business called Scale Up, and she really helps businesses move from reactive to proactive, focus on systems, automation, backend infrastructure that really helps businesses operate without so much inputs from the owner or executive management, and boosting productivity and protect your time at the same time is what she does. So Courtney, with that, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it because there's a lot of stuff we can dive into. But first, before we get going, tell us a little bit, about your business, Scale Up, what you do, 30,000 foot view, and then we'll dive in a little bit more into the granular details and why you kind of got started on this path.
Yeah. So with Scale Up, we focus very heavily on systems, automations, and then any tech support or visibility marketing. So that's the gist of it. Many legs that all connect together. We do a ton with efficiency audits, system audits, which is one of my favorite things to do for businesses because we can just step in and say, hey, here's what you could do better. And it's just getting that third party to look at stuff that you often are blinded by. So that's kind of high level what we do. And then kind of how we got into this. Long story short, I started as a virtual assistant in 2016, and I just did general work, a lot of pieces here and there. And I learned initially getting into the industry, we were with course creators and coaches, and they had no systems set up. They're like, we want everything automated, but we don't know how to do it. And then from there, I kind of transitioned into the home service space where my husband's business was, and all my entire family was in that space. And I learned that even no matter the industry you're in, there's a lot of business owners who they know what they need, but they don't know how to get it. And so that's our kind of goal and mission, is to bridge that gap for people.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Let's target the systems that scale, right?
Yeah.
So from our vantage point, working with business owners, identifying that, they can't hire a CFO or maybe even a fractional CFO, and thinking like a CFO. CFO is focused on systems, repeatability, removing bottlenecks within the organization that make it more efficient, therefore more effective, more profitable. Can you walk us through a few essential systems that when you're working with small business, you see that are missing, that like this is where you start. This is the first place you need to start and look to help identify where your bottlenecks are?
Yeah. So it's kind of twofold. I always tell people, because every business can be a little different in their problem areas, but it's these two main things that pinpoint it. Number one, what's the thing you hate doing? And for most people, it's, hey, you should delegate that. Like if you don't like it anymore, it takes up too much of your time, etc. But my first question is, what's the thing you hate doing, or what's that problem that you're constantly like, man, there's got to be a better way? Because we all say it, like, oh, this takes too much time, there's got to be a better way. I always go for, how can we automate it? So if it can't be automated, we delegate it, of course. But that's number one, and that's the variable piece that'll be different for every business. But there's almost always a simple way to automate those tasks. The other one is, most businesses don't have a follow-up sequence for new leads. It's a low-hanging fruit for almost all of us, because someone sends us a message on our business page, an email form, even a phone call. There are ways to put in a super simple autoresponder that encourages them to respond with what information they need, or book a time with you, whatever your process is. But then also continue to follow up with that person to make sure we do get them on the calendar, or we send them the request form, whatever that next step is.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So leaning into the kind of the marketing side of things, or sales, because oftentimes in the small mid-sized business, the owner or someone at that level is typically responsible for the sales, but all this downline. So automating those tasks that are inefficient, focusing on your 20%, the thing that is going to drive dollars, the Pareto, I think I said that right, principle, right, is what's my 20%. So providing systems and automation to help do that. But more on the sales side is so much money is being left on the table because we're not thinking of step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 of the process. We check a box, we called the lead, they didn't answer, they didn't say no, and then we somehow forget about it. So you're creating the system in that process to make sure, hey, we're keeping them in the flow. So they're still alive, they're still active and on our radar, so to speak, right?
Yeah, no, exactly that. I think almost every business I've stepped into that didn't have the follow-up sequence, that we added a follow-up sequence for them, it increased revenue immediately by 30% because it's just people forget.
Yeah.
They don't remember they sent the form in, or they can't remember what name it was under because they just got that one confirmation, if that. So it's just easy money and easy increase in your lead flow.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I've been in that situation before without a CRM, without a system in place and process, and you think you're doing a good job, but putting yourself in the mindset of the CFO, how do I drive dollars with as little inputs as possible? The automation is a no-brainer. The roadblock, I think oftentimes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is they think it's so costly. They can't afford to do that. We're not big enough for a CRM or a system in place. For those business owners that say, I can't afford to invest $5, $10, $15,000 into a CRM to build it out, how would you suggest they get started?
Yeah, it's actually not as expensive as you think. You don't normally need this crazy complex system. There are definitely situations in businesses where you need a custom CRM or a complex system. Most businesses can get away, at least starting out, for honestly upwards of 1 to 2 million mark with a simple pre-built software CRM. There's tons of them out there, and they're normally 300 to 500 a month, and that's even like you could even go a little less depending on your business level. But $300 is definitely a good starting point on most platforms that are out there.
Yeah, awesome. You mentioned the audit. What was the title of that, or what did you call that?
An efficiency study.
Efficiency study. Can you explain kind of what that is, and is that step one to this whole?
It can be. Yeah, so it's one of my favorite things to do because I get that like bird's eye view and deep level view of most businesses before I step in and help them on the next step or recommend what they need for the next step. Maybe it's not my services, it's something else. So what it looks like typically is if it's a local client, I'll literally walk into their business and I will talk with each of their employees and say, what's your pain points? What's your issues? Is it a software thing? Is it a lack of processes? And I'm basically like a systems therapist for them for the time that I spend with them to pull out those like problems. And I don't give solutions right then. If it's a quick fix, I'm like, hey, just try this or change the setting or have you done this? But most of the time I'm just listening, and I take that and I then review it. I normally record the conversations and I just assess everything. And I look at what systems we can implement in their business. So, for example, a lot of people, it's software related. Man, you just need, I have someone I'm doing a Monday build that came from their system audit or efficiency study. And she didn't have a software issue in her CRM, which I was expecting. It was, I don't know how to do what I need to do and delegate. She already had Monday set up, so we just did a Monday setup. Another one, it was he actually was lacking visibility marketing. I thought he needed CRM help yet again. Most people think that it's, oh, this isn't working here and I need to fix it. But he actually was like, oh, I'm spending $2,000 a month on my Google ads and I don't know what they're doing. It's like I'm running them myself. And I'm like, oh, well, we could save you tons of money right there, because if we optimize that, you're going to get way more lead flow. So the result is always different, but it gives me the next step to recommend, and it's super easy to do. So they're either over Zoom or in person, and it's starting by what's the biggest issue you're currently facing, or that big thing that you're like, I don't even know where to start. And then I ask the questions to get them deeper to figure out the actual root of the problem.
You mentioned something that I think most of us in the small business space, entrepreneurial space, have probably ran into before. It's the marketing spend, right? We understand we need it. We see some ads, somebody that looks good, handsome, cute, whatever it is, looks professional, has a story to sell, sitting by a Porsche or a Ferrari, whatever it might be, some impulse to say, hey, these guys know what they're doing in terms of getting me leads. It's going to increase my business.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, and many, step one is identifying before you act, right? Identify that it is a problem and you need someone to help you fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is you need to do your due diligence when it comes to paying agencies or anybody for marketing. Who are they working with? What are their experiences? What are their success stories? All of that, because we have all been burned. I shouldn't say all. The majority of us have been burned several times until we found that right one that works for us. And there's a lot of salesmen out there that sell these plans and they charge you X thousands of dollars to do marketing. But one, identify the need, but understand, looking at it from a CFO, it's going to take work and you need to know your numbers. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just CFO is not just accounting numbers, right? It's not just debits and credits. It's like, what are my numbers when it comes to my ROI on my ad spend? Am I spending $2,000? How much is it costing me per lead? How much is it costing me for conversion? And
Yep.
making that readily visible to an owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
very, very important. So I'm not against agencies or anything. They're important. They know what they're doing. But you need to have a deliverable so you're seeing on a dashboard or whatever, what's my spend, what's my ROI, cost
Exactly.
of conversion, everything, right? So that's what you help identify those needs and establish systems to do that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We do actually most of our system builds in the last 6 months have been, I don't know my numbers. I don't know how to get my CRM or my X, Y, and Z to give me the data. So we're extracting the data and putting it into basically a really pretty Google sheet. So it's easy to read and see, but that's automatically updating numbers in real time. So they have that data to make educated decisions. Because, like you said, without that, you you don't really know what to do or where to go or where to put your money if you don't know how it's coming in, where it's coming from, what are
Yeah.
your best lead sources. Like, that data is pertinent to that.
Yeah. And we just went through a case study that I can share with our business. You know, we created some ads, we put some ads out, worked with an agency, they targeted right, and they generated the leads that we needed.
Hmm.
It was almost shocking the level of the leads and the quality of them they were. So they were doing their job. You know what the problem was? We couldn't we couldn't close any deals. And
Mm.
it's like, why can't we close any deals? And I think we kind of went through trial and error and said, you know, we're trying to sell this instead of meet people where they are,
Yeah.
understand what they need. So we had to redefine our scripts, our process, our approach to say, hey, we're about value. We might not be a fit for you. We're not trying to sell you some $200,000 in tax savings. We're saying, where are you at? What do you have going on? How can we assist? And does it make sense for us to work together? So it was really more of a conversation, but it took us a few months to really dial that in. So without the numbers and the data, it would have been hard for us to identify what the real problem was.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say the problem was you,
Yeah.
right?
100%.
Oh, good, good. So we talked a lot about marketing, but I know Another key aspect of what you do is time,
Yeah.
right? We as entrepreneurs, when we first start out, we think, freedom. I need all this money. I need all this stuff, all these tangible things to call myself a success or say I've got freedom now. But truly, you're being owned and owned by your business. Uh, True freedom, at least in my eyes now, as I'm almost 50, is freedom of time.
100%.
And I know you mentioned that in your bio. Is like that's one of the things that you guys focus on. How do you do that?
Yes. I just had the whole long conversation about this with someone yesterday. We always hear the term like, I want balance or I want this and that. And I'm a firm believer that in owning a business, there is no such thing as balance. It's just what are you present in that moment? How can you be present where you are? And my husband and I both own businesses. So we actually have 3 businesses in total, and we have 4 young kids. We homeschool. And those are all decisions we've made and things where we've sacrificed in other areas because we want to have those options and opportunities. So time is essential to us, especially knowing that we don't want to have our kids in daycare. We want them home with us. So how can we balance, so to say, our schedules and our time to be able to do those things? And so for me, everybody does this differently, but for me, and what I always talk with my clients about is what's your routine or your system that's going to work. My routine, I can recommend it, but you may not be able to do things the way I do things. So I'm a morning person. I get up before my kids and I work, and that's where my focus work is. I don't have clients emailing me. I don't have phone calls. I don't have to worry about Slack. Like, I can just work on the projects or things that I know I need to get done. And so I know that's my focus time. So I always tell people, what's your focus time? Is it late at night? Is it in the middle of the day? Whatever it is, that's when you sit down and say, hey, I'm going to do this work because I know it requires that of me. And then I have time for my kids. And like at this time every day, we do our school, we hang out, we play. I have time for meetings, and then we have family time, we have activities time, and it's pretty structured, but it's flexible. But we're very intentional about what we say yes to, because that means we're saying no to something else somewhere along the way.
No, that's important. And, everybody's different. I like that you said that because, where I'm at in the stage of my life, I'm almost 50. My daughter just graduated high school. She's going off to college. They don't need me as much and don't need me to be present. My wife does her thing and she does need me to be present, but I thoroughly enjoy what I do. But I need the freedom, right, to focus on my 20% that I really enjoy, that allows me to flex out and travel and do my thing, but still work at the same time and delegate those other responsibilities to my team. So everybody's a little bit different. Some want to work 20 hours a week. Some want to work 40 to 60 like me, but in the areas and activities that generate the best outcome, both to deliver financial security, financial freedom for me, as well as my clients and my team. So I like that you said that. It's not a one size fits all thing, but the idea is to get out of your own way. Don't focus on everything and be the go-to for everything. Delegate, hire the right people, build the system that works for you so you can focus on those things that you really want. No, I love it. I love it. So we've talked about marketing. We've talked about delegation, freedom, your time, protecting that time, where you want to invest it, right? Whether it be on the beach or doing sales calls, whatever it is, where do you want to invest it? The one piece, and both of those hit on it, but is profitability and growth.
Yeah.
Right. How do you help business owners kind of merge everything together to influence that profitability and growth? From a from my standpoint, as an accountant, CFO, financial numbers person, say that's something that I, as an organization, I should be looking at as a benefit for me wherever I'm at, a benefit for my team wherever they're at, and my clients wherever they're at. I need to be, as a business owner, acting as the CFO or thinking like a CFO. I have to put my mindset on that. How do you bring everything together and get a business owner that is consumed by it all to really implement these steps and these processes?
Yes. I always say you have to start simple and get quick wins. So that's where it's what can we very quickly automate or delegate. And if you don't have the team to delegate, one of the first hires I always recommend is an assistant or a virtual assistant because they're pulling away those tasks that you didn't even realize you're doing and you could not be doing. But you have to kind of start simple and easy to buy back a little bit of your time. And then we step into, okay, what's the bigger system that we can do? And this is obviously a long play. It's not like, oh yeah, it's this quick thing and it's going to just be so magical and you're going to be so profitable and just grow, right? Like it's a process. But if you start with the simple, quick wins, you get yourself a little bit of time back, you figure out what you're really good at or what your role is, right? So especially as business owners, we want to be in the weeds. We also don't want to be in the weeds, and we want to like trust our team, but we also sometimes are like a little bit of, well, where's that at? Or what are we doing? Or that kind of thing. I personally very quickly learned in the last few months is we've grown and expanded rapidly, and we have a team of 5 now, and I don't have to be doing all the projects and the systems and the automations, but I give them the project plans and then they implement. And I had to be willing to completely let go of that project plan and do the selling because I'm actually really good at sales. I actually really enjoy it. Never thought I'd say that. I'm a very introverted person.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but getting to have these conversations with people and learn about their businesses and help from a place of you need that. Like I learned that's my lane, right?
Yeah.
And so these business owners have to understand what's their lane. And if sales isn't it, okay, you need to hire someone to help with your sales, which is going to help with your productivity. But again, it all comes down to you need a little bit of systems, you need a little bit of team, and you need a little bit of data to get those things going.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's just like anything. It's a visual that just pops in my head because I used to get stuck on wanting to do things, but never doing things.
Yeah.
Because there's this big bubble this universe that we look at, it's this image of all these little particles floating around, and we're just grasping at ideas and thoughts and all this stuff instead of shrinking that circle down into actionable steps and items that we can focus on and get those quick wins. I like how you said that is let's check that out. Let's get that piece done. Let's get that piece. And then, just like building your business, unless you were one of the 0.1% that were fortunate enough to walk into a business, maybe you inherited a business or you created it and at the right time and the stars aligned and it just blew up right away.
Mm-hmm.
That's doesn't happen very often. Most of us had to spend months, years to build what we've got and create this, whatever it is, the business you're operating, to create it, right? And now, since we've created it, we're saying we need to do something else, right? One, that's a hard bridge to cross.
It is.
Two, it's a totally different game. So it might take you maybe not as long, but it's going to step by step by step. You're walking each and every day, moving forward, getting 0.5%, 1% better each day, but you're focused on those things and it's a small list. And then you add to it. So no, that's powerful stuff. Any final words you'd like to share with our listeners that if they feel like they're in a position where they're stuck, they want to scale, but they're capped because they're in the way, they are the obstacle, what's a couple things you would share with them just to get started thinking about taking some action?
Yeah. The biggest thing I'll say is stop comparing yourself, first of all, because every business is different. Every stage of business is different. Stop looking at everyone's routines and systems and thinking that if you go to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook and you're going to say, I'm going to try their process, or I'm going to try what they do, it's probably not going to work. Because I did that for years, right? I'm like, I'm a mom, I have young kids at home, but I really love my business. I don't want to give it up. That's my creative outlet, is what I do for people. So I tried everyone else's system and it didn't work until I said, let me try mine. And I don't get up and go work out and do all these things. I get up and go straight to my desk, make a cup of coffee, and I go straight to my desk and I work, because my brain is just ready for that at 5 a.m. Now, again, like I said before, not everyone is going to be like that, but don't assume, like, you're going to have to try stuff to figure out what works for you. So stop comparing and just do what works for you, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to serve your business and your family and your life the best. And then don't assume you have to have all the shiny tech. I work with a lot of people who are like, oh, but I need this new software and I need this and I need that. If your CRM is Zapier and an email and a Google sheet and it works and you get results, don't change it just to change it. I have built many systems that are so simple, or I often will turn people away or say, you don't need that, you need this, even if it means less money or whatever, because if it's not going to serve your business, there's no point. So don't be consumed by all the things out there. You can truly start as simple as whatever's going to work for you to get it done. And then just focusing on the couple of things you can do each day to get those wins and staying in your lane. I mean, if you're not good at sales, hire a salesperson. If you're not good at data, don't try to do the data. Like, bring someone in who can help you with that, because that's going to serve you the best.
No, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. For all the small business owners out there, you need to start thinking high level from a standpoint of CFO, CEO. Doesn't mean you have to do everything, but the number one thing that I found successful for me is, like Courtney said, find what works for you, but be intentional about identifying the obstacles.
Yes.
Prioritize the obstacles and start knocking down the obstacles. It's a systematic process to do that. You can't go from A to Z. You have to step on B. You have to step on C. You have to do all the little things. And to her point, routine is very, very important. Find what works for you, but more importantly with that, be consistent with it. Consistency in whatever you do is going to lead to solid results. I can guarantee it. Be consistent. And if you lack on your routine for a couple of days, you can change it up depending on systems, but you need to flow back into that routine, because now you're not thinking about everything. You're in a flow state, so to speak. And that's in life, relationships, business, whatever, fitness, whatever it may be for you. So anyway, this was good stuff, Courtney. I appreciate you coming on. Where can folks find more information, see your content, maybe get some ideas and nuggets that they might be able to take some action on?
Yeah, I'm the most active on Facebook. It's Scale Up with Courtney, and then same with Instagram. It's just at Scale Up with Courtney.
Guys, make sure you check it out. And if you have any questions, I'm sure if you shoot a message over to Courtney, she'd be more than happy to, give you a couple pointers just to get started. Take some sort of action if you want results. So until next time, guys, we appreciate you.